I'm going to read a snippet from the later part of the essay that I wrote that's in the common. And just as context, as Carly mentioned, Julia Wong Kom is the writer I translate. She is a Peruvian writer of Chinese descent. When my mother visited me in Lima, because Julia Wong Kom was not there, the three of us did not sit at a table and stare into each other's mouths. Instead, I took my mother to different restaurants and was reminded of the last time she and I had been together in an unfamiliar place in the summer of 2018. Fresh off my readings of Julia's novels Doble Felicidad, Double Happiness, and Mongolia, both of which take place in part in Macau, I had convinced my mother to tack on a weekend in Macau and Hong Kong to our trip to visit family in Taiwan. Then, as was true when I first started writing this essay, I had yet to meet Julia. We had just started corresponding over email. In Macau, I marveled at Senado squares, black and white wave tiles, a pattern I remembered seeing in Lisbon and Rio de Janeiro, and dragged my mother to unknown corners. Let's just keep walking and see where it takes us. I kept my ears blissfully pricked for the Portuguese that was on all the street signs, but heard only half understood Cantonese. We argued about whether it was more polite to use Mandarin or English when interacting with vendors, an argument that later continued across the water in Hong Kong. On our last day, we were denied entrance to a church because I was wearing shorts, and I remember feeling an American imperiousness rise in my throat, a reflex followed quickly by acid shame. At one point, we stopped to get bubble tea at a small storefront. Thank you, I said, one too many times. The proprietor cracked a grin and said, "Are you Taiwanese?" My mother laughed at me. "You gave yourself away," she said later. 谢谢, 谢谢, 谢谢. I answered the proprietor's question with an affirmative, huh. Saying yes was simpler than explaining where I was actually born or trying to speak collectively for both my mother and me. Wait, before the above overwrites my real memory, I will confess that my mother did not actually stack the words of my apparently very Taiwanese effusion of gratitude like that. That kind of mouth-quirked mimicry, the kind that heightens absurdity, that is my province, not my mother's. But just now, as I clacked away, I couldn't resist stacking those xie so as to listen to their susurros in my mother's voice. In her novella, Bocetos para un cuadro de familia, or Sketches for a Family Portrait, Julia Wong Kom writes in narrator Maria Inés's voice, "Los chinos tienen una extraña manía de duplicar todo lo bueno para mejorar los augurios. Doble felicidad. Eso era lo que yo traía incorporado." I translate, "The Chinese have a strange obsession with doubling everything good as a positive omen. Double happiness. That's what I embodied. Double, 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 sextuple the xie. What I did, what I do." Sometime in these past few pandemic-colored months, I decided to stop translating mama as mom. A little while ago, as we video chatted, Julia asked about that choice in a translation I was reviewing with her. "Why did you leave it as mama?" she asked. Whether in English or Spanish, I can't remember. Our conversations, especially about my translations of her work, often slip between both languages. "Because it's such an intimate word," I said. In Spanish, I remember pausing more than I would have in English as I searched for the right words. Mama, papa, these are the first words you learn. They're close to the heart. In Spanish, I said pegadas al corazón, which strikes me as less cloying. Stuck to the heart would be a more word-for-word translation. Pegar, to hit or strike. Also, to paste, stick, attach. In Mandarin, the adjective my mother uses to describe good children who don't stray too far from their parents is tiexin, the characters individually meaning paste or stick and heart. What I didn't say to Julia, because there is so much to say about other matters. And anyway, is mama always mom in American English? Mom is never what I called my mother in the American English I use. I call her ma, or I call her mami, or mommy, or mami. If you witness me calling to her, you are free to choose the language in which you hear what I say. Thank you.